Hello fellow critics, welcome back to the alley.
Here we go.
What a beautiful day in our great country. The birds are singing, the fish are swimming. The arachnids of unusual size are wearing their best dressed sneakers. Classy. Perfect opportunity to monkey around with your donkey. Okay, it was working for a minute, but now it's just getting weird. This episode is about the true enemy that DK faces in the 1994 classic game Donkey Kong Country. And I know what you're thinking, it isn't King K. Rool, nor is it my terrible alliterations and puns. Although, some of those are absolutely unbearable. Alright, I'll stop. And go station. Okay, I'm done. Donkey Kong. You know him, you love him. You got so mad when he killed you with barrels again because OG Jumpman was called Jumpman ironically. Probably because Carpenter guy who commits frequent acts of animal abuse, man, was a bit too wordy. Oh, that's right, you red cap psychopath. I know all about the Game & Watch days. I watched as you burned DK, laughed, and electrocuted his infant child as he tried to rescue him. You're a madman, and the M is for murder. But this episode isn't about him. This episode isn't about you. Go throw some more Yoshis in the pits. I'm here to talk about my main man, Monkey, which I also know isn't the OG barrel-flinging DK. That's Cranky Kong. His son is Donkey Kong Jr. You see him in Super Mario Kart. Our current DK is Donkey Kong Esquire, and
He's the leader of the bunch.
as well as de facto ruler of DK Island and by extension, the whole Donkey Kong country. And that is where our story begins, bursting from Kong's treehouse like Cranky's bottom on taco night. The sky is blue, the banana horde is as empty as Chunky's brains, and DK is out for vengeance. You can tell these monkey men are at least familiar with Stone Age equipment having huts made of wood. And aside from the foreshadowing sailboat picture, this home has everything you would expect a civilized gorilla to furnish his treehouse with. At least visible in this point in time. The only other thing they seem to possess some knowledge of is their range of barrels and their many abilities. Oh, and the animal crates. The first area seems pretty natural and chill. Explore some jungle and visit your Kong family who seem to have summer homes in every location that you visit. You basically climb some trees, creep through some caves, and swim in the great peaceful lake while enjoying one of the best water soundtracks ever. It's when we get to Monkey Mines, we start to see traces of the real threat looming over us. Immediately after entering the zone, the danger zone, we see multiple mineshaft entries. And you know what that means. Inside the mines, it only gets worse. The walkways are littered with stray hanging bulbs. And there is a strange device that is an oil drum painted with skull and crossbones that literally pops out evil as fast as Little Caesars. Hot and ready evil, like a cheesy demon. The next stop on our terror trail is a wonderful place called Minecart Carnage. Yeah, horrifying, right? Imagine how that sounds to two unsuspecting primates. Look at poor Diddy, guy's terrified. DK is excited about everything. Going shopping, waiting at the DMV, prostate exams. Diddy is obviously the thinker, and he is thinking about his life choices that put him in this position. That tells me that this poorly lit catastrophe cart careening down busted up rails with faulty ambient lighting is a new concept to them. It is safe to say they are unaware of the practices associated with minecarts, i.e. fracking and drilling and mining. On our fun quarry tour, we see a couple other things I'd like to point out real quick. Not only are we working with really cool red and green lights at the stop and go station, but the behavior of the residents known as rock crocs caught my attention as well because they are unlike anything else we've seen so far. It seems quite unnatural for any living creature, even a kremling, which is basically an upright crocodile, to have such a biologically diverse response to luminescent stimulus. Very strange. It's clearly some sort of genetic manipulation, right? Right? It's not just me. It's probably some failed super soldier project or something. Can you imagine? Crocked in America? Ha! Worst Avenger. Also, before we stumble into our battle against Neki, the screaming throat of evil, we pass this very interesting ancient ruin. It visually wants you to think of something Aztec or Mayan. Such civilization links would explain the gold animal statues that we've been encountering throughout the game. If we are to believe that morphing into animals during bonus levels is not some crazed fever dream, then there are thousands of golden idols crafted in our animal buddies' likeness. The Church of the Golden Winky is now in session. Fun fact, animal statues go way back. The oldest recorded zoomorphic sculpture being the Lion Man. They found Lion Man in 1939 and he carbon dates 35,000 to 40,000 years ago. Lion Man's made of ivory though. Scythian cultures have been making golden animal statues since roughly the 9th century BCE to the 2nd century CE. So the antiquity beheld within them is inherent and intriguing. And on a final note, they are something that suspiciously disappears after the first installment of Donkey Kong Country. Don't see them in any of the other games. Where do all the golden statues go? After a couple taps on the back of the head of the Deep Throat champion, struggling to cough out the nut stuck in the back of his throat, DK makes him swallow defeat and then moves right along into Vine Valley. Ah, Vine Valley. And the calm sunset we see in the background. Things seem pleasant. Upon further inspection though, it does seem like there are less trees as you move across the map. And there is a huge difference between level 4 ground tree count and overworld tree count that doesn't just strike me as an artistic choice. We see in Treetop Town an entire civilization once existed, and now the texts that we have tell us that they can't really be found. There isn't really a trace of them anywhere. No one knows what happened. This dwindling tree count, the missing inhabitants, and the increase in vultures really sets off red flags for me. Vultures are primarily carrion feeders. One would imagine that the increase in their presence would suggest an increase in food source or deceased organic material. These are outcomes of something dark and insidious. And I don't mean chili cook-offs. Deforestation is a huge contributing factor to every outcome we just listed. When an environment is so drastically altered, there will be devastating effects. And what cold mechanical force employs such cruel methods to reach its ends? I know this has been a lot to chew on so far, but we're only getting to the top of the mountain. Literally. All of that happened on this side here, the speculative breadcrumb side. From here on out, it starts slapping us in the face. Once we get through this blizzard, of course. In the second half of Gorilla Glacier, we find another mine shaft called Torchlight Trouble. And this interesting level introduces several ideas. First being Squawks and his handy spotlight's only appearance in the entire game, which is a crime against nature. Squawks is the best. Kinda odd he has the light though, huh? We also see our first burning oil drum. You know, the one with the skull and crossbones earlier? Which is essentially waving the Jolly Roger in our faces before lighting our chest hair on fire. This will become more clear why if it isn't already as illuminated as our chest fluff. One more thing, you see this spinning, pointy, autonomous Mad Max tire come to life? This strange creature is only seen in a few spots, and for the life of me, I couldn't find his name. If you know what it is, write it in the comments or something, make me look dumb. You guys enjoy doing that. P.S. They're called mincers. I just wanted to give you a new reason to call me dumb. It's been a while. Point is, it's kind of weird that there's suddenly this fully autonomous thing just living, right? Just grinding its gears. Strange. You know it doesn't appear naturally? Mad Max tires. That's it there. So onwards we trudge through gallons of sludge to the aptly named chemical dumping ground Chemcock Industries Incorporated. It's probably like the Amazon of the Donkey Kong universe. Our first look at the landscape is heartbreaking. Just look. You got one factory on top of this hill, you got one factory on top of that hill, and in the middle it looks like what used to be a body of water. Now it looks like the outhouse Cranky uses on taco night. Only worse. Like if the chorizo was radioactive. It is horrifying, and I don't think we've seen anything like it. Do you? Good thing video games never mirror real life, right? You have to bear in mind too that we are up the mountain right now. All of this is going to trickle down, and we all know how that works thanks to economics. Everyone at the bottom always gets screwed. Oil Drum Alley is friggin' nightmare fuel for any animal. Burning drums, faulty electricity presumably wired by crocodiles, and guardrails? Huh, OSHA will be pleased. They did better than Willy Wonka on overall factory safety. Factory 2 may have constant power failures, but no children went missing, nor were they maimed in the making of this game. So, eat that, Willy. Still though, put any animal in this environment and watch it respond. The idea is so toxic it is reflected in the area boss name, Dumb Drum. It literally just spits out enemies, which begs several questions. Are they trapped inside, scooped beforehand, or does it literally just manifest them from within? Because actually, the type of technology used to create this may actually... Chimp Caverns is our final area on the island. This one not only introduces the idea of batteries and tanked up trouble, and the circuit breakers and loopy lights, but this also proves that the Kremlings have been here for some time now drilling into the side of DK Mountain. These mines here more than likely spread all the way through to the other side at Monkey Mines. That's probably how they've been getting around the island with such ease too. You see how fast those carefree crocs careen down carts? Once we smack the nuts from Neki Senior's esophagus and leave the caves, we are greeted with the full majesty of K. Rule's galleon. The pride of the Kremling fleet. A galleon is a magnificent sailing ship often used by Spain, and it sailed mostly between the 15th and 17th centuries. They were first warships, and then they were used for trading due to their size. That's often the order of history, isn't it? They normally have several decks too. They're quite large, in fact. We not only get to be aboard one, but we get to cause severe cranial trauma to this large gator man as well. Yes! A gator man with severe proptosis, or maybe Graves' disease. Got the whole, swollen eye. Of course we defeat him, send him packing, and win back our horde of bananas because, come on, hey monkey, enough said. We sent him and his creepy Kremling crew crawling, but did we really win? Was this all just some fun romp to stomp out frumpy scaleskins? Or was communism just a red herring?
Communism was just a red herring.
I would like to propose that perhaps K. Rool is innocent. Maybe he's more of a symptom, but not the cause itself. Merely a host by which the real threat creeps ever closer, slowly swallowing DK Island. One that sadly, he may not be able to defeat. Industrialization. It has been staring us in the face the entire time. From the very beginning when we saw that first tire swing on the floor of DK's living room. Rubber doesn't grow on trees, guys. It's been seeping its way in and poisoning his entire world. The fact that he is oblivious to anything beyond what Jax's bananas is not gonna bode well for him against the battle with this shapeless horror. It already has such a foothold in his land that it's like realizing the pimple on your back is gangrenous. The most horrifying thing about all of this to me is how closely it mirrors our own world. Think about it. We started mining and fracking and pulling out all the resources we needed for mass production. And we coupled it with deforestation and we really started hitting the land hard. Especially when we started having so much waste that we were filling oil drums with it and burning it. Sound familiar? The Industrial Revolution rose ominously between 1760 and 1820 roughly, with many more advances happening in 1840. As factories rose, so did pollution. Then across the ocean, settlers spread this careless form of production on beautiful ships. Large ships. Remember which ship we just talked about that appears in that game and not only existed in that time era, but is also used as a warship? Say it with me, the galleon. Boom, that's right folks, we are Monkey. And like Monkey, we love to stuff our giant bananas inside of caves. Just cramming that cave full. We love good music. I mean, have you heard the soundtrack? And who doesn't love wrestling a good croc? But like Monkey, we too face the looming threat of overwhelming pollution. Every time we seem to make progress, there is that ugly face in our rearview mirror, being quite literally closer than they appear. And it only gets worse the more we avoid or placate the issue. So, fellow critics, the choice comes back around. Many of us are heading in the right direction, yet still the problem persists. It grows even. Let's move forward, making better decisions, everyone. If we start growing our own gardens, teaching our children how to grow, growing community gardens, support local farms and butchers too. We can push towards less packaging and more materials that can actually be recycled, instead of just hundreds of different plastics that we have no idea what to do with because no recycling place will accept them. We can also produce more affordable electric cars. We can start modifying our cars right now into electric running ones. Clean the oceans, plant some trees. Guys, Captain Planet told us our entire childhoods what we need to do, and look around. We're failing him and ourselves and Monkey. We have to set by example and save our world so our children's children can grow up playing Kong's games and we can smash them relentlessly. We can whoop them and smile fondly. That's when we truly become the Crankies of Taco Night. Stay sharp, everybody. Critically yours, the Fox.